So we're going to go through just a couple slides breezing through the program. At the very end, we will have some time for some questions. So if you have anything pop up, just write it down and we will have time at the end to answer that all. And if you have any questions as we're going throughout stuff, you can let us know as well. So we'll have Becca start us off just explaining what multi-specialty sonography is.
Hi, guys. So I'm Becca Bocart, program director here at the college. I'm actually a former graduate of NMC a long time ago. My specialty is actually cardiovascular sonography. So I don't do everything you guys do. I get to talk to Mandy, and Leslie is teaching a class, but Leslie Worley-McFarland is also part of the multi-specialty crew. She's the concentration coordinator and instructor, and she instructs more of the abdominal portion of your program. And Mandy here is in charge of the OB/GYN. So she gets to, I know a lot of people choose this profession for the get to see the babies and things, but as you can see by looking at this, it's so much more than just that. One thing I wanted to say is before I even get started, we jump into this information. We started these sessions last year because it's funny, you go through the whole admissions process, and by the way, you are selected for this program, and many people apply. So you should be very honored and excited to be in this group of people. And I do mean that sincerely. It's a very highly sought out program here. And so the fact that you're sitting in this seat is an honor, and you should be proud of yourselves for that. So once you get accepted, we kind of had that wait time. And so there's so many questions that come up, and we want you to be really excited about what you're getting into, because you're right, Leslie, this is an amazing field, and we want you to be well prepared and have a good base before you come down. But the purpose of this session is really to engage you in what's to come. You'll get this all over again. By no means is it meant for you to have this memorized or know the process, because really you're going to hear a lot of this again right before you start. I invited the first year, I'll explain it, but the bachelor students that are currently doing their prereqs here at NMC, I did invite them to come on, because it's funny, they attended this last year, but they forget so many of the little details that we're going to talk about today. So you might see them hop on, and they might have class as well. But you guys are a small cohort, and there's going to be 10 of you in the group. And so some of them that aren't here today are going to be ones that have already had kind of a basis at NMC. And then you guys are going to be the new group that starts to NMC. So lots to be excited about, and especially your profession. Leslie, you said this is a great field because we get to help the doctors. I mean, we're the eyes and ears for the doctors in so many ways, and you guys really do impact what happens to the patient, and you need to make them feel comfortable. And Mandy and I could tell you stories upon stories about how we've truly felt that we've impacted patients' lives in a positive way. So you have definitely chosen a field where you will have that opportunity. However, I will tell you that it will not come easily. So by no means is this presentation going to be like, oh, it's all rainbows and butterflies. You guys were hand selected with reason. This program is difficult, and I think Mandy would definitely agree with that. You are, like I said, the eyes and ears for the doctor. So if you miss something, that could dramatically impact a patient's health and life. So do know that although this is such an exciting time that you guys are in there, but when you begin the program come August, you better be ready to hit the ground running. It's an incredible program. We have it well set up. And so you'll see that throughout this presentation, and we'll go through the nitty gritty. I didn't prepare Mandy for this slide, but honestly, she'd probably be the better one to talk about it. But the point of the slide is you have 2 tracks in the multi-specialty field. And here at the college, you'll be eligible to register for your abdominal certification and your OB/GYN certification. So you can see by this nice little layout of the slides, you'll be learning a plethora of exams. But those will be your 2 specialty boards that you will be eligible to sit for. We are an accredited institution. In fact, we just went through our site visit, and we're fully approved for all our specialties that we currently have. That may just mean, nothing too exciting for you guys, but I will tell you, hospitals will not hire you likely if you come from an institution that's not accredited. So our accreditation is extremely important to us and to you as students. So you have chosen an institution well, and lucky for you, you won't have to do the site visit because we just got it done. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next slide, Sydney. Mandy, do you have anything to add, I guess, for that?
No, I think you hit right points, especially with how difficult the program can be. The one thing I'll add to that, if you're finding that it's difficult for you, is time management skills is very important to have starting in August when you start the program.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And you will learn that you'll have a lot of support at the college here in many different ways, and we'll get into that as we run through this. Any questions so far? By the way, feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind. Any questions so far? Okay. Well, this is where it starts to get a little dicey, in my opinion, but hey, I'm going to go for it and you guys try to follow along. It's like a game. You kind of got to follow. So here at the multi-specialty program, and actually the cardiovascular program as well, there's the cardiovascular sonography, multi-specialty sonography programs here at the college. Both are the same in this sense, but you have the option of having a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. So what that means for you, and you guys specifically are entering only the associate degree program, which means that you will have all your prerequisites completed prior to the August start date. There is an option for people to enter fresh out of high school, or maybe if they only have a few prereqs done, and they can complete their prerequisites prior to coming in. So they would be considered the BS or the bachelor's degree students. So those are the ones, the 5 students that'll be joining you come next year in this portion. So we do hold the sonography portion, which you are all taking. You're taking the 21-month program here at the college. That is your specialty. That is the ultrasound portion of your program. So that's the foundation of my talk. So it's easier if you remember your color. I used to give this to both the bachelor students and the associate students at the same time. So they were yellow, you guys are green. So this is easy. You just have to remember green is your color. So how this will look for you, or for not for you guys, but for some of your classmates that you'll be meeting come August, they're the bachelor students. So right now they've already finished their fall semester. They have done their prerequisite course, and they do get to take one sonographic experience course. It is nothing lengthy. They will not be a step ahead of you because they have spent time in that course. It just allows them to be on the ultrasound machine, to meet all the instructors. So it's actually, it can be a really fun time for people, but also slightly terrifying because the machines are so intimidating. So that is the experience they get as a bachelor student. Right now, they're doing strictly their prerequisite coursework. If you can go back one, Sydney, there you go. And then this summer, they will have off or maybe get a couple courses they need out of the way. So that's not you, but some of your classmates you'll be meeting come fall. Okay. All right. So then in the fall, we have this is you guys. So notice at the top, it says AS first year. So sonography coursework is what you guys are going to start right off the bat with. So we also will have you be doing arts and sciences coursework, and you will be in that sonography physics lab as well. So you're going to be kind of starting out with a little bit of everything that fall time. So I think it's like August 15th, August 16th is your date, right around there. I don't have the exact date on me, but we get you working right away. Then comes spring is when it gets a little more intensive for the multi-specialty program, I would say. This is where we really get you rolling. And you can see there, it says sonography lab on your abdominal and your OBGYN. So one thing about how this curriculum is laid out is you're just real heavy that spring. Fall is heavy as well. I don't want you to downplay that, but you feel as though you're living in the lab come spring. So that's one thing that you can expect in that springtime. A lot more lab time getting those specialty scans down. You're still completing your arts and science coursework, and all didactic work is also being completed for a lot of your sonography courses. You'll notice that it says physics boards. We're not going to get too into physics boards because it's so far away now, but we do have you take 2 physics classes. You're going to take a sonographic physics 1 and a sonographic physics 2. The first physics lies in that last 8 weeks of the semester, but then in spring, you'll have an entire semester preparing you ultimately to take your physics board exam with our National Registry Society. So that you'll be sitting for that boards. If you're somebody that really likes to plan that far in advance, May, June timeframe of 2024. Even hard for me to think of. So that will be your first board exam. So we always, we actually require students to sit for it quickly because you're already learning that information, right? So you don't want to sit on it and then take it 3 months later where you may have lost half of that information. And we've had really good success rates with this. So that is our process, and that's what we'll expect of you guys. Then that summer semester is when your clinical will start, which is really the bread and butter to this program. And I always get so annoyed when I say that because Mandy, myself, and Leslie, we do so much work for the didactic in the lab, and it's, you know, so labor intensive and we put so much into it. But really, when it comes down to it, your time in clinical is what's going to make you as a sonographer. Not saying our work isn't important, because you need to do it all to get through this program. However, your time spent in clinical is everything. You're going to see patients, you're going to see pathology, you're going to have to deal with patients, you're going to have to deal with doctors, you have to deal with sonographers. It's just the whole package is at your clinical. And when Sydney introduced Mandy, she's the one that runs that. So she organizes all your clinical sites, and she'll explain briefly the clinical experience that you'll be having. But boy, it's pretty fantastic. We're really a step ahead of a lot of places, especially in the Midwest, for what we're doing here. So you guys can rest assured that you'll have an excellent clinical experience and get to see a lot of great, exciting things. So that summer, you will begin clinicals 3 to 4 days while you're doing your coursework as well. So that was your first year. Okay, so remember, you have almost 2 years. It's 21 months. I'll never say 2 years because a student once was like, it's not 2 years. Yes, that 3 months, 21 months, you will be out of here. So that next fall, it'll be your second clinical rotation. You'll be there 3 to 4 days a week. You'll be finishing sonography coursework and your arts and sciences coursework. I hope you're noticing a trend at this point. So you're always in clinical and doing coursework. That spring semester, which will be your spring, you'll be graduating come the end of that spring. You'll still be doing that clinical work. You'll still be doing arts and sciences work and sonography work. You'll be preparing for your specialty board exams, which are listed there, and you will be applying to jobs. So you can see the rigor of this program. The beauty of the program is you are able to do this program in 21 months, and it's been very effective over the years. So, but it's very difficult. Some programs, I'm sure you guys were very bright students and you looked all over for different programs, require you to be there for 4 years. Okay. With this program, the beauty that we have brought to this is we can do this for you in 21 months, but it's going to take work on your part. So that all happens by spring. And we require you to sit for one of your specialty boards at minimum 60 days prior to graduation. So we really put a lot on you that spring. You know, usually you think, oh, I have senioritis, I'm coasting through. Not here. We don't have time for that, really. So every semester brings big challenges, but exciting challenges as well. So I want to note that May, you will graduate with your associates. So even these students that may not be on this call that are currently bachelor students here at the college, they also will be graduating with you. You guys are going to be very close, and you need to be very close. That's one thing we have been very lucky in this program. There are 10 of you. So it is upon you guys to work together to build that bond. And I mean that. So I know you're going to be having your own things and everybody has their own lives, but really take that time to mesh with your class. Everybody sitting here needs to be your support system. And so I want you guys to look at each other and know, boy, come next year at this time, I'll really have classmates that I support and that support me as well. So you will all be walking down the aisle together at graduation. And then they will go on to do their final year, 3 semesters online in the bachelor's program. Okay. But I want you to also understand, for those of you, and I don't have all your records in front of me, but if you do not have a bachelor's degree, this is the time that you can tack on 3 semesters potentially. We would talk about that. Maybe if you're interested in getting a bachelor's degree. So when you do start in the fall, you will talk to your advisor and or myself or any of us, you can mention it to, hey, I might be interested in tacking on those 3 semesters, depending on your coursework. Of course, it may be 4 semesters since you would be a little behind. Then we could talk about that. So do know that's something we can discuss if you change your mind and want to go beyond that associate's degree. However, an associate's degree is only required in the field currently. But having a bachelor's degree can be very helpful, and we can talk about that at a different time. Any questions? That's so much information, by the way. No? Okay. So this isn't really pertaining to you, but I always think it's helpful to really understand. This would be those online semesters. So like I said, you'd graduate in May, you'd be online summer, online fall, online spring, all while you're working as a sonographer, fingers crossed, maybe getting some tuition reimbursement from your site. So you're able to work in the sonography field and finish your bachelor's degree in that 3, maybe 4 semester range, if you so choose. So it's really, I think we have a really great program here that can offer that for you. So if you ever have that question, definitely reach out come fall. That's not something we can do right now, but maybe eventually when you start. Okay, go ahead and move on. All right, I'm passing it off to you, Sydney.
Okay, so these are all of the prerequisites that we do require for the associate degree track. So all of you, this should look very familiar to you, but just a quick reminder, you are expected to have all the 7 classes that you see here completed in full by the time that you start classes with us. And these must be passed with a C- or higher, but of course, the better you can do, the better prepared that you are going to be come fall. Just pay attention to physics. You do need a lab with that, as well as anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. They all 3 of those classes do need to have the lab attached. If you are currently taking physics or you still need to take physics in the summer, please note that the applied physics at Metropolitan Community College currently does not count. So I know most of you do currently have the physics either in progress or done, but if you're taking it at Metro, it does have to be that 3-part. For any of these classes, if you are having any issues finding somewhere to take them or something that works with your schedule, please email me or call me and I can help you find a class that should work for you. We will be in touch, or I'll be in touch with you, just checking in on how your prerequisites are going, but it is your responsibility to communicate with me if a class isn't going well or you think you might not pass it. Please let us know. That way we can try to help you and just keep that communication open. For Metropolitan Community College, I also realized that that semester actually ends the first day that you would begin courses here. So for that, if that is a concern to you, please reach out to me and we can talk further about that. There is some stuff with financial aid that we just want to make sure you know in advance, specifically related to the Pell Grant. As you're completing these classes, if you have completed any between the time that you were accepted to mid-February, if we're going on a quarter schedule, please make sure to send us an updated transcript. And that would be to our admissions email, and we will have that email towards the end of this presentation today. Even if you're not fully done with the classes, as you complete each class, please make sure to send us a transcript so we can make sure that you're on track. Does anyone have any questions about the prerequisites? Great, we will move on. Becca, do you want to talk a little bit about the Alex test?
Yeah, Alex test. I'm assuming, well, I'm not going to ask because I know you haven't received communication. However, I will say, and kind of at the end, we wrap around and we will all agree to this. And there's so many reasons why. However, you need to pay special attention to your email. So I'm not saying you need to check a million times, but don't be that student that doesn't check for a long ways and we're trying to reach out to you, because as the year approaches, or as the start approaches, there are some definite important things you need to get scheduled and complete, and one of these is the Alex placement test. Now there are some ways and reasons you might not have to take for them, and I'm not going to talk about that today. I'll be honest, I'm not the specialist when it comes to this Alex placement test, but what I can tell you is that it serves a purpose, and it actually has impacted sonography students. We have students coming from all over, and so they have different experiences, different backgrounds in math. And we are math and science heavy. You know, we're in the healthcare field. We're doing a lot of math and science beyond what you even have probably been exposed to. So making sure you have the proper foundation is extremely important. With all the transfer credits and such out there, we really need to make sure our students are coming in at a certain level. So the math placement test is especially important for you. I very highly encourage, I wish they would require it, but they can't, but I encourage you to take it as early as possible. Let's say that you take it, and honestly, in the past, they've been able to send out emails about this it usually comes from Neil Volker here at the college, and he sends it out saying, hey, I can start these tests, these Alex placement tests. It's a site you sign up for, and it tests your math skills. And the earlier you take it, you'll level out, you'll come out at a certain level, and Neil is very good about it. He'll suggest to you, yeah, you're about where you should be, ready to get into that program, or you need to get some work in so we can get you prepared. Now, you guys are all part of the associates program, so I want you to understand this won't impact your placement. So that's very important for you to realize. So what if I take this and am I just not accepted? Are they going to go to the wait list and I'll be off? That's not the case. But why I encourage you to take it so early is because we can figure out a way to help you get to that over the summer, however that looks. I couldn't even tell you how it looks right now because we don't know your levels. So it's not you will lose your seat or it's an issue, but what can we do to maybe bridge that gap that's occurring? So I have had students unfortunately wait until very, very late, and you see the correlation in their progress. I told you we're taking sonographic physics. You know, we're taking these courses where measurements are a very big deal. Anatomy is a very big deal. All these go together. So we want you to be successful because you're investing in us and we're investing in you and preparing you for healthcare in our community. And so we need to make sure you're as prepared as possible because we want you to succeed as much as you want to succeed. So do take that as early as possible. What happens is you'll pay a $25 fee to the Alex placement test. They will give you 5 practice exams. This is if it didn't change from last year. You need to reserve 2 of those for your proctored exams. So like that 5 exam bucket, you need to save 2 of those tests for proctored exams. But I highly encourage you to practice at least twice, because what I've heard from students, and I ask every year, like, what would you tell new students and what do you think about the process, is the proctored test is very similar. And they were very glad that they went through and spent the time practicing and learning it. And not learning it per se, but, you know, refreshing maybe some cobwebs that you had from a previous math course. So that is my spiel on it. It is required unless you have been waived. If you think you should be waived and you don't know, when that email comes out, you could always ask Neil Volker so that you would respond to him for that email. So make sure the email you have listed, I'm sure Sydney has that down now, is good. That's the email they will use until you are released of your Methodist College email, which won't happen until after like your care days or orientation-ish to the program. So make sure you're checking that personal email. Okay. Any questions on this? For whatever reason, this is always the one I get a lot of questions on. No, you guys are quiet. Saving all of them till the end. Okay. All right. I'm good, Sydney.
Sorry about that. It froze on me.
Okay. Oh, no. I'm around, so her computer might act up. We have a relationship. Advising sheets. And we actually have, I won't put you on the spot too much, Lisa, but I will briefly introduce you to Lisa Johnson here. Hi. She's one of our advisors along with Brooke Clemens. So Lisa is part of what we call the TRIOS program here at the college. I'll let her briefly tell you what that is. And she is also advises the TRIO students. Lisa, do you want to briefly describe are you good to do that now?
Yeah, sure. So our program will be able to help you if you decide to continue into the bachelor's program. And as soon as you decide to do that, you might be eligible to apply for a program. So our program offers an additional level of support for first generation students, meaning you're the first in your family that will complete a bachelor's degree if you decide to go that route. You are low income or you identify as somebody with a disability. So we provide a lot of extra support, like help you with textbooks. We provide scholarships to our students, and we really help our students identify scholarships. We have a lot of single parents in our program because school is hard, and it's especially hard for students who are parents. Even if you have a partner, a healthcare degree with kids is even more challenging. So we offer a lot of support to our students. So if you identify as any of those first gen, low income, or disabled, you may be eligible for our program once you declare a bachelor's degree. And then I would become your primary advisor. Until then, it would be Brooke. And then I advise our students. Our students get priority registration, free printing, and a bunch of other bonuses. So.
Thanks, Lisa. That's great. Yep. And so that's just one advantage and a great opportunity. I think the more people hear it, maybe that would be even more reason to do the bachelor's program eventually when you come in, if that's an option. So Brooke wasn't able to attend today. And if you go back one, Sydney, sorry, yep. Brooke is out on a conference, but I'm going to go ahead and cover this part for her. My previous role, I also did some advising, so I can speak to this. The advising sheet you're seeing here is something that you'll see. It lays out each semester and what classes are required. This is just an example of one. So this is something that we found students find really helpful to kind of break apart their semesters and see their load. Now, of course, you're all going to have different transfer credits and different things coming in, but this is a helpful layout about what you will expect when you do start the program. You'll get your own copy of this. All right, I'm ready for the next one. Another thing that we use at the college as well is also degree audit. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, if it's at other institutions where you've taken courses, but it actually is something that I've grown to love over the years. At first it felt like a lot, but it's a nice little X marks red, meaning you still have these courses to take. The green arrows mean you're good to go, and then the yellow means you're in progress. It's very important that we track your progress. You all have unique needs when it comes to what classes you brought in and all of that. So it really helps the advisors to see what you still need so we can get you down that graduation to that graduation day, like we are all supporting you to do. One last thing before I have Sydney move on. Course formats here at the college. This is helpful. We have different ways we do our courses. We have a hybrid format, a synchronous format, and an asynchronous format. It's a lot of terms. And I will tell you, this became a thing because of COVID. And now we're, acclimated to this life, but it was a little crazy for obviously everyone at this time. But what it did is, there is one positive, is it did allow some flexibility to go online with certain portions of the course and to create maybe some video formats. And so there is a lot of creativity with COVID that came to the academic world. I can tell you from my experience that has been very positive. And we try to utilize that and mix it very well. We are moving a lot of our classes back to campus, so you can expect to be on campus more than a student that was a year or 2 years ago, because we have found that students like that touch point. And it really allows a workflow where we can teach and then go straight into that lab and show you exactly what you need to learn for scanning. So do anticipate that there will be more on campus courses than off, but maybe some of your arts and sciences. I can think of 1 or 2 courses within the sonography that are synchronous. So synchronous means that you will be meeting just as we are now. So in a class format where you'll be online, maybe in the comfort of your own home, but you are still participating, you have your camera on, you're in class, part of that live class. So then on the flip side, asynchronous means that's 100% online. You're doing that when you can schedule it. You don't have to meet at a certain time. That would be asynchronous. And then, like I said, a lot of the sonography can be that hybrid format where maybe we'll give you voiceovers to watch prior to you coming to class, so we can do more lab time or different varieties of that. So those are the formats that we utilize. And I will tell you, it's always changing. So you may ask me today, and we'll wait till the chat comes up, but class formats, we're always trying to stay aware of what student needs are and how we can best prepare students for the clinical setting. So, all right. The lab, that is our beautiful lab. And I am proud to say that we have brand new machines. So that is pretty excellent. We have 5 new Philips, doesn't mean anything to you yet, probably, but Philips machines that are really nice and do prepare students for their clinical experience. Now, we would need one of every single kind to prepare you for all of your clinical experiences. A lot of sites do use different machines, but the goal is to make you comfortable on this, and then you can adapt once you get to your clinical site. So we have a beautiful lab and we're really proud of it. Little fact, it's actually an old bank. So you can see, I don't know, Sydney, you can point to it with your the pointer, but we actually not own, but it is ours. The sonography lab is a bank vault. So that door right there that she was pointing her arrow to is a literal bank vault door. So I'm not sure what would happen if you shut that, but I don't want to be in there if anybody ever does that. So it's a really cool space. It's been really great for students. We're getting a portable machine. We can't really, we can't complain. We have a beautiful setup. We have volunteers that we provide for you to the best of our ability. And Mandy does a great job with that, with the OB volunteers. So the pregnant volunteers come in so you can get some scanning time on them. We will tell you that is a very difficult process and we do the best we can, but boy, that's been really beneficial for our students. Eventually you will wear scrubs with a patch. We offer some flexibility, NMC gear in the lab. But that lab essentially is yours once you come here. You do have to, when you scan, be on the premises with a registered sonographer that is in your specialty, but you'll have opportunities to get practice and such on Saturdays. Every other Saturday, currently we have open labs. So that allows you to maybe bring a family member in or get some extra practice that you wanted as well. And that's in addition to your lab time that we have made out for you here at the college.
Quick question, Becca,
Yeah.
if you'd like to go over it. When would you typically recommend that students start getting those scrubs?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Okay, so here's our deal with the whole scrub thing. Those navy scrubs with the patch, I should clarify as I was looking at it, I should probably change this on the slide. That's for your clinical experience. So when you go to clinical, everyone is expected to have navy scrubs with a patch that you will buy from the bookstore. The bookstore does sell scrubs too, but you can get navy scrubs from anywhere. But while you're in the lab, the first 2 semesters before you go to clinical, we are good with you just wearing solid scrub pants of any color. And then you can wear a scrub top with it, or you can wear NMC gear. Even we wear it today. I'm dressed normal, but a lot of times even the instructors will have like an NMC t-shirt. You'll get one when you come here, and just wear that as well. So don't worry about purchasing your scrubs until you will need them that first day of clinical come May. All right, Mandy, you're up.
Hi, so like Becca said, I'm the clinical coordinator for the multi-specialty side. I feel like I get to talk about the fun stuff, kind of, because everybody is always excited about going to clinical. So the sites are arranged for you. So I assign the sites every semester. You will do abdomen and OB, so your general and OB parts. GYN is done in both aspects of general and OB, so you kind of get to touch on that everywhere you go. You're going to change every semester. So summer you will be at sites, fall you'll be at sites, and the spring you'll be at sites. Right now we have it as where you go to general and OB in the same semester, but they're not the same sites between general and OB. So it's two different sites all semester. That's how we have it going right now. We have sites all through Omaha. There's one in Fremont and there's several in Iowa as well. So we use Jenny Ed over there, especially their OB. They're utilized as well as Mercy. The biggest thing I could tell you as far as clinical, and you'll realize this once you get out there, is that ultrasound's a very small community. Everybody kind of knows everybody, especially with the clinical sites. And so you just want to make sure you take it serious and treat it like a job, because that's essentially what it is. Because these sites do talk to each other, and just have fun, listen to what people tell you, learn from the mistakes that you make while you're in clinical, and you'll have a successful experience with that.
Okay, thank you. So this is just a general to-do checklist. So as I said before, communication is key. Please make sure that you are logging into your email, checking it regularly, not only your regular inbox, but please also make sure to check your junk and your spam folders. Sometimes our college emails do go to there since it's seen as an outside account. So we don't have the dates yet for what we call Care Day, but Care Day is a student registration day where we go over a lot of different important things. Those are typically held in the summer, so you will receive an email with those dates when we come out with them. Typically that's done late spring. There will be about 3 dates that you can choose from, and you will register through an online portal for that. You will also be meeting with your advisor, Brooke Clements, and this is where you'll go over a fall schedule, registering for classes, making sure you have everything taken care of beforehand. And you will also receive an email from Brooke in order to set up that appointment. Again, in late spring is when that will happen. For transcripts and prerequisites, as I mentioned before, please make sure that you are sending us an updated transcript, even if it's only one additional class that you've completed. That way we can make sure that you're on track and prepared for August. That admissions@methodistcollege.edu email is where you can send transcripts to. That is the original email that you sent your transcripts to when you first applied. And then student orientation, we don't have a time for that, but it will be held the Friday before classes start. I believe August 12th sounds like the right date, maybe. But we will release times for that as we get closer to the semester. All of you should have received an academic calendar for 2023, 2024 as well. But if you have misplaced that, please email me and I will send you a copy. This is all of our contact information. So we have Becca, myself, and Brooke, phone numbers and emails. If you'd like to screenshot this, feel free, or take a picture, but we are also recording the session for it too. Okay, so we will get into some questions. So does anyone feel free to unmute yourself, ask any questions that you like for any one of us? And Becca, I cannot see or Mandy, I cannot see the chat. So if you see anyone who has sent in a chat, can you just please let me know?
Sure.
I see one here. Sorry, I'll kind of read it. I'm really bad at this on my iPad. So
That's
I have
okay.
one that asks, what can we expect out of our fall schedule next year? How many days will be on campus versus online? So this is always my favorite question, I tell everybody, but I don't mean that. I'm very sarcastic. So it's hard. Fall's a way out. We're in the planning stages of fall actually right now. So I will tell you that your fall semester, as I think about what you guys kind of where you're at, you'll have a scanning lab that you will be required to be on campus for. And then of course I don't have my sheet in front of me, so I'm not as prepared as I should be, but you will have online, you will have possibly an online humanities course or you can do on campus. So a lot of our arts and sciences classes have options. Okay. So really, I can't say whether you'll be here or, online, but you have options. And so if those options are not full, I should say too. So kind of be ready for either more on campus versus more off campus. You will also have pathopharmacology that you're all required to take. I can tell you that in the fall, and that's on campus 2 days a week. For the class, you do have a sonographic physics course that will be held synchronously, so you will not have to be on class or on campus, excuse me, but you will have to make that time available in your schedule. So I hope that kind of helps answer the question, that was asked here in the chat.
You'll find it a bit different compared to places like UNL or Metro or UNL or UNO, where typically you have a few different sections to choose from. Especially for the sonography courses, there is usually only one section. So that can be a bit of a shock to some students. So just keep that in mind starting out.
Yeah, I want to say that too. Like, I think I mentioned we talk about student services, but we don't in this. I was thinking of your care days. You'll learn all about it. But I will tell you, Methodist College has a lot of support. And they are a smaller institution than, and I can say that actually because I attended UNL too for a period of time. And I'm nothing against UNL. But for something like this intensive program, you have a lot of attention to you. Mandy and myself can probably say we're the two instructors on, but we notice right away if a student's slipping up and we are on high alert. And Mandy and I work together along with Leslie to make sure you get what you need, along with Brooke, along with every resource at the college. So that's the beauty. You're not alone here. And so the support services here at the college really are fantastic, and you'll learn a lot more about those as you approach. So the other question I see, and always feel free to turn on your mic and ask too. I know people are kind of shy on their first run through, but should I be working? Can I work during this program? I'm actually really glad you asked that. Should you? No, probably not. I mean, it's pretty difficult. But I am not a person in any place to tell someone whether or not they can or cannot work. That is not my intention. Everybody has their own financial way to do things and what they need. So ideally, no, you wouldn't work because you're going to be at a time where you're going to be clinicals 4 days a week, full days like you're working, and the other day you're going to be going to school, and then on your other time you're going to be studying so you can pass your boards, pass your classes. So you will get to that point where you feel very, very heavy. And we don't do it to stress you out, but we do it to give you the option of getting this program done. And everyone, this is doable. You can do this. But if you think you're going to work a significant amount of hours and be successful in this program, even if you're Superwoman, it's going to be hard. So that's usually what I tell students. I can give an example of my own personal experience, which it's not the same, but at least I can tell you. I was later in life when I chose this program and did it. And when I did it at that time, I went to school all day or clinical all day, every day, 5 days a week. And then I would work I would walk across the hall at the clinical site I was in and work in their lab till 11 o'clock at night, 4 days a week. And then I worked Saturdays. So I had to, because I had to support myself. So, but I also got it done. And I knew that this was it, and my life went towards it. And so I know it can be done, but it was not a pleasant, it was hard, so that's kind of my spiel on the working thing. But I will tell you, if you can get away with, maybe working hard this summer and stash away some cash so that come time for clinical, you don't have to work. You're going to be a lot less stressed than someone that's carrying a load of working. So I don't know, Mandy, would you say anything differently for that?
I would have to agree. I did not graduate from NMC, but I think that it's pretty standard across the board with these sonography programs. It really is difficult, I think, to work a lot of hours and be a part of a program. I personally did not work. I had 2 kids at the time when I went through my program, and it was tough just having 2 kids. And my husband was deployed, and it was difficult. So you definitely have to, like I said earlier, manage your time well, especially if you're going to work.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I have a question.
Yep.
What do we do if say kids are sick and we can't leave them home alone? How does that work with like makeup work or makeup clinicals, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we ask that that's a good question. We ask that you are always in communication with all your instructors. We say check your email regularly and all those things, but we're business when we get in here, and we reach out that way very often. So our communication, when we say it's important, is really important. So you being professional and contacting every instructor is extremely important. Letting them know, giving them the heads up when you find out that happens. If that happens in a clinical situation, I'll let Mandy describe that and let you know the process there, just to give you a brief rundown.
Yeah, so if you don't go to clinical, if you're sick or you have a child sick or whatever the reason is, then you have to let the site know as well as myself. You can just email me, but the site you have to call just like you would a job and let them know that you're not going in that day. And then you will just fill out a form to make up your clinical day another day.
Okay.
So essentially you'll have to make up everything missed, including labs. So if you're not in clinical yet, but you miss a lab, you'll have to make up that lab prior to the next course. It's not easy to miss, I'll tell you, but we do work with students absolutely for things like that.
I also have
another.
Oh,
you go first.
okay. So living. Do people usually live off campus or on campus? Like, what are like the ratios, I guess? Do people enjoy living on campus? Stuff like that.
I can answer that one. So we actually, our college itself has about 1,200 students, depending on the year, of course. But for the amount of students who live on campus, it actually is quite small. So only about 10% of our students do choose to live in our campus housing. But I have heard that the people who do choose to live on campus really enjoy being very close to their classes. It's about a 30-second walk to the buildings here. So it is very convenient, and it's actually a pretty good price. All the utilities are included, and you can find all of the prices and the lease terms on our student housing page. Let me know if you can't find it on the site. But they have all utilities included, free parking, and that's anywhere on campus that you have the free parking, even if you don't choose to live here. But they are apartment style dorms, so you do have your own room. There's one bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, so you could have a roommate, you could not, but they do come furnished and they have a full kitchen in them. So not a lot of students live on campus, but it is a good decision if you want to be very close. I will tell everyone that it does fill early. Usually it's first come, first serve. So if it is something that you really want to look into, I would do that pretty soon. And housing applications are currently open, so you can send in an application as soon as you would wish.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
We always have sonography students, a handful that do it. I've never had a year where there's been 0.
I just had a question about the clinicals and stuff. So like on a normal day, you said 3 to 4 clinicals per week. Would that be like just random days during the week, or is it like the same days every week? Like if it's like a Saturday, or is it just kind of whatever works for the clinical sites?
So it's typically Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. At least right now on Wednesdays, the second years are in class, or in the summer, they might be in lab. So Wednesdays right now, you don't go to clinical. So those other 4 days are what are open. Saturday and Sundays, you're not scheduled to go to clinical.
Is there any other questions anyone can think of?
I just want to say congratulations again. It's exciting to see some faces. I told Cindy and Mandy I was excited about. We just get to see your face now. So it's, there'll be a lot that happens, I'm sure, between now but make sure you do put in that time and prepare yourself, from a time management standpoint, like Mandy said, and also just gearing up. I talk and we all say how difficult it is. When you get here, you'll be assigned a mentor. And that mentor in the second class walked in the shoes that you will be in. And so they'll be here to support you. But it really is fantastic and worth all the work. So nothing good ever comes easy. And I truly believe that there is always hard work that has to go into it. And so just remember that and keep a positive attitude and you'll get there. So that's kind of my end spiel on it. If there aren't any questions from a program standpoint. We're excited to have you.
I have a quick one that I get asked quite often. So, are there tutoring wise? What options are there? And do you have students who are tutors who have taken some sonography classes?
Yeah, that is. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, we there are always students that have been willing to do it every year, but I will tell you, it gets difficult because as we mentioned, the rigor of the program is very demanding. And so those second year students, remember I said they're doing job preparation, board preparation, clinical courses. I usually always can get at least one from each program to support the sonography area. But it's not guaranteed. I always want to say that because I always put their needs in a high place. Like I don't want to overwhelm them and, God forbid they do something poorly on the boards or anything like that. So as long as we have students, and I have yet to have a year where I've had none, we try to really fill that support center for students, sonography student tutors. Luckily, we always have a very strong physics tutor, sonographic physics tutor. That has been a really good program for us. So from that end, it's a little easier to fill, but the sonography, we always make that a priority. So as long as there's students available, we do it. Absolutely. And then from a school side, you'll learn all about that, but there is an excellent SI, supplemental instructor and tutor program here at the college. So all your other classes are very highly supported as well. And I encourage you to use them as well.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have another question. Is there any curriculum or anything that you have in advance for the summer so that we could start reading up or getting some information beforehand?
Well, what I would say about that is I think if it's, with you guys coming in, this can always be difficult in the sense that maybe you haven't taken your anatomy courses in a little while. We always prefer them to be close to your start date, or you, like I said, get that math placement done as early as possible so we could do some maybe interventional things there. But I would say, there's so many great things out there, resources for anatomy that you could look at using. But being familiar with anatomy, again, if it's been a couple years, was going to be really helpful. So that would be my first easy go-to. You're going to take that Patho Pharm course right off the bat. So that will help you in that course as well. And of course, what we do is look at body parts and organs and systems. So the more you're exposed to that, will never ever hurt you. And then lastly, I would say that time management piece. I know that sounds so silly and it sounds like fluff, but I'm telling you, you guys, every year it's a thing. So if you can get that down somehow and develop a good plan at home with whoever's helping you or you know, your friend group, and let them know this is going to be your life, then do it. There is a program out there called Coursera, Coursera, I think is how I said that, Coursera. And they have a lot of free, if you sign up, free opportunities to brush up on a lot of different academic courses that would help prepare you as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question.
And we will go over at the care days that you attended this summer. They'll also go over additional things like how to log into the student portal, IT stuff, business office. You will get a lot of information on that day. So we will cover some more questions at that time. Most of you have already been on a campus visit, but if you are someone who has not been on a campus visit yet, highly recommend it. Reach out to me. I can give you the link to schedule that. But I just want to emphasize again, congratulations to you all. It is such a big honor to be accepted to the program. It was super competitive this year. So I want to congratulate you again sincerely on your acceptance. It is a huge accomplishment. So congratulations.
And thanks for attending today.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
you found this helpful,
Yes.
you know, to give you a little background. So, and we'll see you again. Don't worry, you'll be hearing from us.
In this session, is being recorded, so we will get the recording all set up and we will send it out to you here in a few days. So if you have any additional questions after today that you didn't think of, just email any one of us, contact us, and we'll be sure to answer you as soon as we can.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Have a great
Thank
rest of your
you.
day.
Bye.
You too. Thank you.